Hey there, sorry about that. Lost you on the live feed. Hope you made it back with me. I don't know what happened. That's the first time I've had drop the feed in some time. So let's hope it sticks with me here. Let's see. I was just answering a question from John, I believe it was, in Colorado. He was asking me about Van Dyke being a good starter process for, or calotype, I'm sorry, being a good starter process for platinum and palladium. Anyway, my answer to that was, yeah, it could be. But the thing about calotypes, they're kind of like a thing in themselves, you know. I mean, it's not really easy to jump into that either, you know. It tends to be a little bit more of a, you know, like all of these processes, you have to kind of work yourself up into a workflow of some sort, so that you're, you know, that you kind of work through the bugs and that kind of thing. So, you know, and then shifting back over from that over to platinum and palladium is another different thing altogether. However, it is a really good process to kind of like learn coding your own papers and things like that. Basically what I've been doing here. It's a good way to learn that. It's a good way to use chemistry handling, and it's a good way to save in your pocketbook a little bit. Now, I've been thinking about going to that as a base for these. I've been experimenting with several other things. There's other things that might help you with this process and just getting used to coating papers and using brushes and mixing emulsions, and that's cyanotype, which is the easiest and the cheapest. I mean, you know, I have some over here. If you're using kind of the old, you know, Herschel way, not the new Michael Ware way, you know, where you're doing as a printing out process, this you just use A and B, and it's real interesting, real easy stuff to do, like blueprints. That's one good way. There's Van Dyke Browns, which is another one where you're using silver nitrate and tartaric acid and, let's see, tartaric acid. There's, you know, there's a lot of different things that you can use, different processes, gum bichromate, which also helps, just learning to coat your paper and things like that. So yeah, I guess that would be a good way to start out. I think that salt printing is another one that's really beautiful. You know, look out there in my playlists. There's one on salt printing. That's really fairly simple and real easy kind of to do. You mix up it's an A and B solution where you coat the paper first. It has a little bit of gelatin in there and ammonium chloride, and you coat that paper first, you let it dry, and then you take 12% silver nitrate and you paint it over that in the place where you're going to be making your exposure, and then you let that dry, and then you marry the negative to that. And that's actually a really cool process, because that's a POP process, a printing out process, so that when you're exposing it, it's developing. And so you can actually open up like this. You can open up a split back contact printing frame and look at half of your print and see where you are, you know what I mean? It's like that. It's really kind of a cool process to do. So that's another one. It's real inexpensive to do. So that's a good way also to get familiar with the idea of coating your own papers and things. But yeah, it's a lot different now than it was when I first got into it. You know, I mean, I could buy a 25 milliliters for $30, and you know, now that same is $200. So it's a little bit more dear. So yeah, anyway, let's see. Daryl. Yeah, thanks, Daryl. Glad I'm back too. I hope that other people pick up, or at least in the long run, they'll be able to pick up on the question there. Let's see. Let me get back to this masking of this other print here. Anyway, I'll keep an eye on this. Fortunately, I saw where I cut out pretty quick, so it wasn't as if we lost a lot of time of me yakking to a camera that wasn't on. But yeah, I don't know why that happens. You know, I'm getting the feeling that, I mean, I've noticed it in other people's live feeds where it's happened to them as well. One thing I had done is I had shifted my camera over to a lower setting that I was hoping would keep it cooler, and because I read up where something about it heating up might cause it to do that. But it could also just be my internet burped. Yeah, so let's see here. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna finish coating or masking off this piece here, or this print here. Yeah, I hate getting rudely interrupted by the internet gods, you know, cutting off my stream. It looked like we had a little bit of momentum there and a few people watching and some questions coming in and things. So I'm hoping that people will catch back up. Glad you did, Daryl. Thank you. Last week we also talked about storage issues. And I really kind of took that to heart. I actually started storyboarding out a video on that rather than do something live. I thought I would storyboard out a video just to kind of show people how I catalog my work through Lightroom and that kind of thing. And also show you the system that I use to store on. Okay. Yeah, but I had a real good question this week about somebody from, just wanting to know about retouching on a palladium print or on a gum over palladium, and, how did I do it? And because I've been doing all these prints lately, I do have quite a few that I need to spot. So I thought that I would try that live next week. See if I still got you? Yes, I do. All right. Coat it again with the gum. Yeah, this stuff really goes on nice. And what it does sometimes is it goes on and it looks like it's a little stippled, but then as I'm kind of taking off the masking, it sort of self-levels itself. And so off comes that. There we go. All right.